Now, welcome back to another Pop Classic. We're on Big Willy again today. And over this long weekend, we're going to look to try and give him a bit of a respray because, yeah, look at this. Don't know if you can hear this. I'll lean into the microphones nearby. Paint shouldn't be doing that, but yeah, there's lots of paint work that needs to be done. You know, all over, really. So, yeah, we really need to gonna give him a go. So, lacquer peel on the bonnet, and the nozzle, that's nicely faded. Don't know how well that's showing up in the sun. But yeah, he's a little bit multicoloured, shall we say. He's not quite a Volkswagen Harlequin kind of levels, but yeah, if you look at the roof, that is the worst of his lacquer peel up there. This side's, yeah, you've got the door at the top, plenty of scratches round on his bum. There's crazing on the bumper and stuff, so it needs to be done. So what we're going to start off is we'll use the airline to get the worst of the lacquer peel off. Then we've got DAs and sanding blocks to give him a good sand down, wet sand down, do all the prep work, and then we'll look to give him a paint. So we'll take you through step by step. We'll get what we can. This is our first ever repainting job. We may even do the wheel trims as well. So we've got everything I think we need. So was it plastic adhesive for the plastic, so the bumpers and the wheel trims, etch primer, base coat, thinners, hardeners, clear coat. Got a gun and a compressor as well. So yeah, we'll see how we get on, and hopefully by the end of this video he'll look a lot better. One thing we do want to do is measure that to make sure we get the badge back in the right place. He's lost his VI, but I'll take a picture and measure that out so we know exactly where that's going to be. Enter that photo here, and then we'll use some fishing wire to get him off, and then we can probably get underway. So let's move him around the corner and let's get started. We've taken inspiration from kinging it with our big man list, so that's what we need to do. So yeah, we'll clean off the road dirt, start removing bits and pieces, and then we can properly get going. But yeah, clean, wipers, badges, number plates, anything else. So let's crack on. So we've got the headlights taped around the edge so we don't go into those. That's both headlights there. We've got, what do you call that, the aerial done. It's a proper classics, just doing the door rubbers and an expert job on that indicator there. So yeah, we'll keep going. We'll keep taping up, taking bits off. As you can see, naked without his number plate. So we just stopped for a tea break, but you can see the progress we're making on the bonnet and up on the roof. So yeah, we'll keep going and check back in later. So it's the end of day one. We've done a lot of the machine sanding. We've not done the front or rear bumpers, some of the details, but good progress. I think it's a total of about 10 hours, 11 hours or so we've put in so far. But we'll keep going, knock it back tomorrow, do the bumpers and the details, and then maybe could be paint stage. So, well, for us it'll be tomorrow. For you, it will be a couple of seconds. So it's the start of day 2, and we're gonna start going on the bumpers by hand and any other little details and bits that need going over again. So scallops, the divots, you can see bits in there. They're still quite gloss, not matte, so plenty to be getting on with. So yeah, let's crack on. So I'm going to use the sanding. It's at 180 to get into some of the details. And if you can still hear that, it's still a little rough. You can perhaps see it. There you go, those bubbles and dots and things. So I'm going to try and get into areas like that by hand. And as I say, areas along here by hand, and anywhere we couldn't quite get into, so around the edge of the doors and so on as well. So yeah, you can see bits there that still need to be done. You can feel it as well. But yeah, I'll do a little bit of time lapse. We'll get what we can, and I'll cut back in as and when there's anything interesting to say. I'm thinking that might be a bit of filler that's in the wing. If you look at how it's over the paint, but that will explain why this possibly bubbled up this wing quite as much as what it did. But there you go. We'll carry on. We'll keep going. We'll keep going with our archaeology as well. So as part of our archaeology, so you can see the slightly yellowy, I don't know if it's filler or filler primer, but that's where those peeling was quite bad. If you look on the bonnet, that's where some of the peeling was quite bad, especially this wing that Mr. Proper Classic's working on. That ring was really quite bad. So we think it's a previous respray that's been done that perhaps wasn't the best. That's making this whole process taking slightly longer, because if you look at there, those bubbles are what we want to, come on, focus. They're bubbles are what we want to get out. Otherwise, it will just come back as it did before. So you can see along there, that's showing up really well. But then, yeah, you see up here, it's nice and smooth. So we'll keep going. We'll keep knocking it back. Hopefully get to a nice smooth finish for us to prep and look to paint. In there, what I'm trying to do is take them back so you can't see them anymore. It's a nice smooth surface. There's a few more in there I need to get kind of along those edges, but hopefully without going back to too much metal. But we'll get there. I don't know how much of that's now in focus, but we'll get there. So we're going to take him outside for a little bit, so we can actually see in the sun and not be choked to death in the barn. But yeah, we'll check in when we're back outside. Day 3 on Big Willy. We'll finish the prep. So there on the bumpers, front and rear. There's a few patches, as you can see, still in here that need to be done. Plus, it's down this side. I'll probably set you up down here so it's something slightly different. A little bit of filling to do down here, and we may also have a go at the wheel trims as well. But aim for the end of the day is have him completely prepped and ready for paint, and if the weather is kind, possibly do some plastic adhesion and etch priming and bits and pieces like that. But we're getting there. There's a small patch on the roof left to do as well, but yeah, you need a Mr. Proper Classic. Will finish the DAing, so bumpers front and rear, bit on the bonnet, bit there, a couple little bits here and there, and I will grab the filler and have a little work down there. So cue filler work. Okay, we're going to do a little bit of filler for that hole I mentioned earlier. Plastic and trim repair. This is what we've got. I'll just double check the instructions. Hopefully it'll say in there, but normally it's we only need a little bit, and it's like golf ball to, what do you call it? P. Oh wow, that's on tight. It's not a screw, is it? Stuff's gone everywhere. So we've got a little spreader, which is good. Imagine that's the hardener. So let's get into here. Probably want a screwdriver. This is not going to be the most entertaining a video, this bit of it, so I might edit it out. But screwdriver to pop it open with. Screwdriver to pop it open with. There we go. We're in. We're in. We're in. We're in. Right, let's pop that back. We're in. So we only need a tiny little bit of this. I'd rather make too much though than not enough. So make a little more just in case. I'd say that probably is plenty. And then make sure my head's not in your way. That looks like loads. And mix it together, I guess, so it's one consistent colour, isn't it? I'd say that's there. Can't see any inconsistencies there now. Can you? Right, so let's get out and fill. Pop you up. So, here we go, that's in. Right. Nice and smooth. Obviously we'll look to lot. Just going to do a bit of wet and dry sanding in the kind of inner arch of the bumper in there, where the number plate goes. So I'll stick on time lapse for that. So where the paint, you can see how pitted it's been up here, was that bad, and even on this door as well. We're kind of actually having to go back to the metal, but we'll get there. See a few more bubbles and stuff there, but we'll get rid of those. So I'll keep going along here. Oh, I can feel that. Yeah, we'll keep going. We'll try and get back to a good base and go from there. There's not going to be really much I can time lapse or do, but yeah, I'll check in when we're done. So after that, you can still see there's an awful lot we still need to do. So this door, hope you can see it right in there. So there's still quite a lot we need to do, but now it's time for lunch. Day 4, after having had a day off yesterday, of Big Willy prep. And yeah, we've got in here to try and do, because you can see the yellow grossness. That may be it. There might be the odd little bit here and there. I think, yeah, get that bonnet done. Double check anywhere else. And I think we're ready to prime, so we are getting there. So we'll just do a quick closer look of a few little areas we want to finish off. There's little bits kind of in there. Just see them do there. So there's little bits on the door handle. Okay, a few little bubbles we can try and get rid of. I think there's door handles the other side. Actually, no, that one's all right. There's a little bit there. A little edge. I think it was this door handle. Yeah, you can see a little bit on that door handle, but we can wet and dry that, and again just along the top edge of the door. And then the bonnet which we're talking about. So we are close. We are close. I think we've done all of the sanding. We've got all of the really snotty stuff that was in there. I'm just going to give them a rinse off now. I'll wash and I'll wipe down. I'll wash with water. You don't want to put anything. You want to be as clean, as naked as possible. So yeah, as clean as naked as possible. No shampoos, no treatments or anything like that on it. And once we've done this, give them a proper wipe over and wipe down, put a can of wipe or something maybe. And then we can look to plastic adhesion. It's the plastic adhesion on like bumpers where we've gone through to the plastic. Etch primer on the bare metal bits and pieces, which is just an aerosol. So the reason we did all of that rinsing down and stuff is so we can see. I'm looking at detail on the paint on there, but you can see, I don't know how well it's going to show up. I can't really see the screen. See the little bubbles? Yeah, it comes up camera. We need to knock those back. Otherwise that will just come through in the paint next time. So a little bit more wet and dry here. Possibly a little bit more on there, but I think, zoom out a little bit, I think he's almost ready. He is almost ready. Thank God, 4 days later. Don't know how much of this you can see, but our progress has been interrupted by a swarm of probably bees. This came in, you could hear them buzzing, and it was like the plague at the end of the world. But while I'm free of bees, just taping up the lights, because we're going to etch primer in a minute. Etch primer over any exposed metal, so anywhere it could drift, sort of like onto the windows and doors and stuff, we're going to cover up. And we need to plastic adhesive where it's gone through on the bumper, and bits like there, so it can stick properly before we etch prime. We want to get that done today, so then there's the least amount of exposed metal as possible. But yeah, we'll let all those pass first, because I don't fancy being stung to death. Round it goes, ready for etch priming. That's us done for the day. Again, last bits of rubbing down were done. You saw on the time lapse I did the plastic etch priming, or plastic adhesive, then the etch priming all the way around the car. Anywhere that was bare plastic or bare metal looked like it needed it. So when I tuck him away, that's today done. We'll come back another day, possibly the weekend now, to do the prime, rub back, base coat, lacquer, and then we're done. Obviously that's not going to be the job of a day, but we're getting there. We are getting there. Day 4 done. So it's day 5 on Big Willy respray now. So it's out. We just need to mask up the window and the windscreen that I used so I could see when we're moving him. We'll probably give a quick panel wipe over just anywhere that we've touched or looks a bit mucky still. Then we can mix up the primer and give it a go. I'll probably want some sort of step ladder to get up to the roof, because it's quite tall, quite high up there. But yeah, paint going on today. As a side note, I've ordered new number plate front and rear. It seems like it would be a waste not to, given there'll be new paint on there. And we've got a bracket for the rear number plate, and we've got the fog light to go back on as well. So we are getting there. Progress is being made. Compressors on, ready to go. So yeah, cue wiping down, masking up, and paint mixing, I guess. So he's got his primer on, he's got his dust coat of black paint ready for wet sanding. So we're just going to unpeel all the masking and get him ready for remasking and wet and drying back, and the next stage from there. So we are making progress. We are making progress. It's the last bit of masking to take off for now. All of it off. Obviously once he's done, we'll give him a nice proper clean up all the plastics and the rubbers, give him a ceramic coat and really get him looking his best, rather than like the 1930s French Tiger or 2CV. done. I've lost count. 5, 6 or 7, I think. 7, I think, on Big Willy. We're gonna try and wet sand and flat back the roof, so he's ready to paint the roof. But we're gonna do it outside because it's a lovely day. So yeah, we'll take him out. We'll flat back, wet sand the roof, so he's ready to paint at least the roof. We can have a practice on the roof when fewer people can see it. So yeah, let's get cracking.
So here you can see some of what we've done before. We've tried to sand it back to get rid of the black kind of dust coat there, so you can see it's nice and smooth on that bit. The black's still there on that. So we'll sand it back to try and get it to a nice, even kind of base to get rid of any high spots, low spots. I'm not starting the spoiler because I can reach it. But yeah, let's knock it back, get it nice and smooth, and crack on from there. And yeah, now we can see a bit more of the roof. They managed to do quite a lot. Some of it has gone through back to the base coat. You can see those green patches there, but that's fine. We kind of put primer all over the carpet because we had it, but we just need to keep going, make sure it's a nice and smooth, nice kind of good finish for the actual paint to kind of stick to and adhere to. So let's keep going and get it nice and smooth, ready for paint.
So this is day, I don't know, 7, 8, 24, 92 on Big Willy. Gonna finish up the masking up and paint the roof today. So you're probably on time lapse for most of it. So you want to crack on before it gets too hot. So yeah, let's jump in. So it's fully masked up. I'll obviously double check once I'm in and roll them out across the back window. I'm gonna start on the rear spoiler to get that edge, and then back and forth along the roof in base coat. So I just need to double check. I think it's 2-to-1 base coat to thinners. We'll mix it up, stir it up, and then whack it in the gun. When everything's ready to go, I've got some panel wipe and a lint-free cloth down there. So when it's out, I can just give it all a once over, make sure there's nothing on there, try and get as good a finish as possible. And I've trained as much as I can the water traps from the airline as well to hopefully get as good a finish as possible. There's your mask. Make sure you've got a proper mask when using 2K paint because it's nasty stuff. And that's like clear coat, lacquer and hardener and the other bits and bobs down there in our mixing cups. But we're nearly ready. So yeah, final preps and then we're good to go. All right, so with the paint, it's about 200ml. It says of paint to do the roof. So if we look at the thing, and that's been generous. There's a 2-to-1 there, which is just under 200ml, but that should give us plenty of coverage. We've got 2 litres of paint, which gives us 3 litres of overall coverage. And talking of paint, let's have a little look. Obviously that needs a good old stir to get the metallic fleck going, but exciting. Right, I'm at a crucial bit now, so I will just stick it on time lapse. I'll get mixing, I'll get everything ready and just crack on and get the roof done before it's too hot. So it's in from the time lapse and from the fact it looks a little streaky now. It's not the best finish. This bit isn't bad, but a few imperfections, but it's not anything we can't rescue. But for a first attempt, I don't think it's too bad, but it's too hot now. I'm just gonna let it dry and we can come back another day when it's slightly cooler. We can sand back anything with a fine wet and dry just to help smooth it out. Maybe give it one more coat, then we can crack on to the rest of the car. But progress is being made. So day 8, 9, don't know what it is. On the Big Willy respray, we're going to try and rescue that A little bit of fine 1200 grit wet and dry to get rid of the roughness. Spray it over again, and then look to lacquer it as well. So let's get him out. Right, so you can probably see he's a little stripy, but the main thing we're trying to use the wet and dry for is, yeah, it's a bit kind of there. It's a little bit rough where it's dry. Maybe a little dry along there. That doesn't feel too bad, actually. It's a bit of a run, but yeah, so I'll give it a light wet and dry block over. Sorry, spider. Quick wet and dry block over, and then dry off, and we can try and get some paint on before it gets too hot. So cue time lapse. So we've wet and dried it. We've got the worst of the dry bits off to like here. Just wanna let any less of the water that we had from the wet and dry kind of dry off. Then we'll check with the tape and mask it back up. And dare I say it, I think one more panel wipe and then we might be ready to try again. So hopefully one more coat will be all it needs, and then we can get, I think it's about 200-300 ml clear coat for a couple of coats done. And let it dry and see how we get on. So progress. Hopefully we will have the roof done today. So fingers crossed. Yeah. So there you go, that's second, third, maybe fourth coats on. I'm just gonna tub up the leftover paint, give it 20 minutes, and then we'll get ready to put some lacquer on and have the roof done. Yay. So fingers crossed and wish me luck. So I've got all the gun and the PSI ready. It needs to be lower PSI for the clear coat. Probably got another 5 minutes, I might grab a quick drink. Then it's 2 parts clear coat, 1 part hardener. I'm gonna give a full pot, full 500 ml. I'll do the rear spoiler, I'll do the top of the windscreen, and then as I did before, outside in towards the middle, go around the outside to the other side, and then middle, working my way back out, making sure I've got a nice overlap so it's not stripy as it was before. Then it's give it a 15-20 minute flash time, and then second coat, and 2 coats should hopefully be enough. So fingers crossed, and let's see how we get on. Gonna try and demask it and we can get an idea of how it looks. I didn't reveal anything. Right, let's come in from here. I'll have to undo the door. There we go. Ready? There we go. I think that's pretty good. Now just to do the rest of it. So there he is, Big Willy demasked, or Marty McFly, as he might be called now. We're just going to rub down these 2 doors and the other 2 doors with 600 wet and dry, so then we can look to try and paint at least 1 set tomorrow, if not 2 if the weather's kind. So I may set you up on time lapse, and yeah, we'll crack on and get some more prep done. Well, those lights aren't working properly. Here we go. Day 9 maybe on Big Willy. Oh, look how good the roof looks. But yeah, doors today. So let's get them out. So we've just had a feel over the car just to check there's any rough spots. There's a couple. Like there's one just on the edge of the door. Just there. Just there. And there's a couple along the top. So there's one just in there. And a little bit along here, I think, as well. So not a lot. So we'll just finish that up and then, yeah, we'll get masking. So most of the masking up is done. Just need to do the mirror, but we're only going to do the doors this side and hopefully the doors the other side. Doesn't he look ridiculous? It's got like a shower cap on. But yeah, we'll finish up and then get ready to wipe down and paint. From this to this. So there we go. Both doors, well, all 4 doors, painted and lacquered. There'll be a little bit of finishing post-production, as it were. But yeah, that's Big Willy done. He's more than halfway painted, which is a big result. So cheers for today. And we'll catch up when we're back on him again, which for you will be a few seconds. For us, could be a week. And welcome back. Day 10, I think, on painting Big Willy. Make him less of a pistachio sandwich. But yeah, I'm gonna rub down, it's just me. I'm about miss a proper classic today, so I'm just gonna finish wet sanding, what do you call it, wet and dry, knocking back the front and rear. So bumper, front and rear, wings, front and rear, bonnet and boot lid. Hopefully, and the scuttle, because I don't know if you can hear that. That's a little bit rough, and what you want is a nice smooth kind of finish on there. Obviously, that's not going to be the final finish. Yes, I know I still need to do the door hinge before anyone says anything, but yeah, I don't think the finish is too bad so far. We have got some 2000 wet and dry, because there's a little bit of. You can see a little bit there. We can knock some of that out of the lacquer. Little runs like that we can knock out, and we've got some high quality compound as well. So we can knock all of that out so we can get him looking as good as we can. I want to try and get as much done as we prep done today. So if the weather's decent tomorrow, fingers crossed, we can at least get an end done. We may not have enough paint to do all of him, but we can cross that bridge when we get there, if we can just get most of him done. And then we can do the fun stuff like putting on the new number plates, the number plate plinth, fog light back on, knocking it back, putting the wipers back on, and getting him back on the road. He still needs to be undersealed underneath, so I know we still need to do that to him as well, but we can get him up on the ramp and do that. So yeah, I'll get him out, and don't know, cut in every now and then, maybe do a bit of time lapse. Of what we can on wetting and drying and sanding and prep work. So yeah, cue whatever I'm about to do next. it's not the easiest thing to rub down because obviously the different angles that kind of goes in there for the wing. So I'm just doing what I can on the flat surfaces, not going too close with the block anyway, to where kind of the join is to the freshly painted to the knot. So I want to do all the flat surfaces that I can, the scuttle, bumper, bonnet, go my hand on the divots, the edges on the wing and down along there. So yeah, I'll leave you be for a bit and then I'll cut back in when we've got a little bit more done, maybe when we're doing some of the edges. 6-7 hours after I started, the entire front has been rubbed down, all the divots, the scallops in the bonnet, all the edges. So the front is a wipe down, a panel wipe and a dry from being ready to paint now. So another step closer. So yeah, we're getting there with Big Willy. He's still got a rough bum, as you can see back there. He's still got a rough bum, but he's got a smooth face now. It's cleanly shaven, as it were, and ready to paint. So another step closer, another day done. Day, whatever I said earlier, it was done. 10, 12, 94,000 maybe. But yeah, today done. Didn't film that much because there's not really that much to show, but you've got to take your time, get a good smooth finish. We'll check it over tomorrow or whenever we're here next, ready to paint. But yeah, not a proper classic out. Another day on this one, giving him a final rub down. So there's a few points on the front I didn't get done last weekend. I also need to rub down there where it's got a few runs, because I went through to bare metal there, but just want that nice and smooth and flat. And then he is ready to paint the front and back. It says put you down. You can see what's going on, but first things first, I'm gonna open this up because it's A, warm, and B, dark. But we are getting there with him. So yeah, only need a quick little rub down. Nice and smooth there now. No bare metal. So I think we're nice and good there. So there you go. I think that's the final rub down done. There's little bits on the bonnet, little bits on the bumper, the scuttle, that edge of that wing, and the rear wing as well. So now we just need to find a day when it's not too hot, windy, wet, poplar fluffery, and all the rest of it to finish them off. But we'll probably do the front first. So we need to mask up lights, grille, indicators, wheel arches, all the rest of the glass and stuff on there to kind of create, to just expose the front, the washer jet obviously. Then we can give him a good spray, but he's nice and smooth, so we should hopefully get a decent finish. Panel wiping before we do it. And same at the back as well. Hopefully we'll have enough paint. If not, we're going back to paint shop and we're like, please sir, can we have some more? But yeah, that's the body of the car prepped, I guess, and done for today. So another weekend, another day, hopefully trying to paint a bit more of Big Willy. Trying to get his bum done today. So let's put him out, wipe him down, mask him up, wipe him down again, then get ready to paint. I just need to hopefully make sure this top one come on. I just need to make sure that the weather's stays dry and isn't too windy. But fingers crossed, and let's see how we get on, and hopefully there won't be too many bits and flies in him. Yeah, I think that's gone on all right, that wheel cover. Just do the other side, then mask up, tape up, prep and paint. The weather feels like it's going to hold off as well, which is good. Moved him back inside because it's starting to get a little warm on the panel, so I don't want the panels too hot for when we paint. So let's crack on again inside. Hopefully not too much more masking to do. Window, door, roof, a little bit further forward, and then that little hole down there. Progress, slowly. That should do. So number plate lights taped up. That will just stop anything blowing through and kicking dirt out. I think might be pulling out time now. Okay, I think we're ready, so I'm just gonna get changed, mix up the paint, one quick final wipe over, and then we can start spraying. But we are nearly there. Nearly there. Just need fingers crossed the wind stays the wind stays calm and it doesn't rain. But we'll see. But yeah, let's get dressed and ready. Another afternoon back on Big Willy. It's a midweek evening here. I'm just going to try and knock back. Can you see them? There you go, yeah. Just those little, very little edges in the dryness up here. Try and make it nice and smooth. I'm going to be very careful on the edges and anywhere that, to be honest, looks fine. I'm going to use, I think 1200 was recommended, just to knock the tops off. I'm going to be very careful not to go through the lacquer to the base coat. It is just knocking the tops off so I can give it a coat of lacquer a couple of days time maybe, when we're back on it. So yeah, I'll open up, get a bit more light maybe, a bit of fresh air. If I have time after doing all of that, I will then also maybe look to prep any bits around the front. I've got to start taping up bits like the lights, the indicators, the grille, these bits, what do you call them, hinge covers maybe, and going from there. But we are slowly getting there. How's this looking? Yeah, that'll need a touch up, won't it? But yeah, I'll have a step forward and we'll try and keep the momentum going on him now. Try and give it a little bit of a close up. You can sort of see there, that's obviously where it has been. But if I run my finger along it, it feels fairly smooth now. Whereas some bits up there don't yet. So I'll, it's just getting the worst off. So then the next coat of lacquer will go on well. I think it's better. Can't see quite the same dimples on the paint. You still see some there, so I might have to come back tomorrow, but I think that's me done for tonight. So better, not perfect, but better. So check back in tomorrow. Another evening after work, back on Big Willy. I'll have a look at how well or not this has all come up. So I'll open the doors, give that all a wipe down, and we'll see. But it feels all right. It feels all right. It doesn't look great, but it feels all right. There's maybe still mid-stride there, but that feels okay. Let's wipe it down and have a look. Bring you with me in a second. Just going to put some panel wipe on my lint-free cloth. I'll bring you with me now. See what we can find. I think I might have to rub this down a bit more again, you know. Certainly in the few bits, I don't know what you can actually see because I'm not looking at the screen, but I think there's a little bit more I need to take off, isn't there? So there we go. All rubbed down, got the worst of everything off. Annoyingly, if it will show up on camera, yeah, it does there. You can see that mark there. I've kind of just gone through the lacquer into the base coat. So, frustrating, but what I'll do to make sure I get a good colour, even finish, is one base coat, 2 lacquer. I'll do that in the morning. And I will also be doing this end of him as well, but as this is in the barn, I can do the back, then I can mask up everything on that side. I might do the odd little bit here and there, just to avoid the worst of the heat tomorrow, because it is meant to be a heat wave. But yeah, we're getting there, progress. So I'll check in the morning. Early start today. Want to get him done before it gets too hot. So let's double check what I did yesterday. Get all this rubbing down, which needs a good old wipe over. So I'll get the door shut, get a damp cloth, take the worst of that off, panel wipe, get the worst of the dead spiders off, and then yeah, I'll spray them up. So stay tuned. So I've done a bit more masking at the front. Excuse the compressor. So the lights are done. I've got the grille indicators in the lower grille, but I want to get the back done. So I'm going to open up, pull them out, make sure everything's ready, get myself ready, and then we'll be good to go. Stamping the ground down, put my lovely outfit on, and he's almost ready. So I think it's because of pull out, paint, and go from there because it is already warming up. That didn't go as well as planned. Can you see that? I don't know what's happened there, but I'm just going to have to leave it and come back to it. I guess prep the front now. Oh, that's annoying. So yeah, it's a reaction in the paint there and there. So there's nothing I can do on the back today, which is frustrating because I wanted that to be done, but let's just get the front done and then at least it's all in colour. I'll have to sort out the back another time. Right, so he's pretty much masked up. Got to leave the door so I can get him out. But I'm going to wipe him down over in here once, pull him out, and then seal that up, do the wheel, cover the wheels, and then get him painted. Hopefully no reactions on the front. Guess what I'm doing today? I'm going to give it a little rub down so the little... Oh, it's annoyingly small. You just about see it there. So flatten that back, just because it would annoy me. And then I will also, well, you can't see it in this light, can you? Can you? There you go. Just about in the light there. There you go. So there's the reaction there on the paint. There's one. There's another bit further over. And then the two bits on the bumper. So I'm going to sand them back, do 600 wet and dry, 1200 wet and dry. And then I have got, he says, juggling his hands, some isolator spray, which will seal it all in, and I'll put the light on, which will seal the paint and stop any reaction from happening again, which means we can put a bit of base coat over it, and then, yeah, at the weekend, actually finish it. So, yeah, I'll crack on. More rubbing down of the car. I thought I'd been done rubbing this down. So, yeah, there are a few other patches. There are a couple sort of down here on the bumper, in the middle of the bumper, as well as around that side and what we can see on the boot lid. And I've also done a couple of little runs on the front, but I don't need to go over these because they didn't react. There's a small run there, which is gone. And there's a small run there, which is now nice and flat. So a coat of paint, and when we do the base coat, maybe go that way rather than that way when we paint to avoid the stripes, but that's for another day. But yeah, I'm going to panel wipe this down, maybe chuck it on time lapse, make sure it's all good, it's all clean, it's all dry, and then I can put the isolator sealer spray on, give it 2-3 coats to avoid any more of that happening and going on. But it's nice and smooth, so we can seal that in, and then we'll be good to knock that back when before we put the base coat on. So yeah, I'll crack on. So there we go, there's the first coat of the sealer on. I'll give it a couple of minutes, and then I can go over with another one, so then it'll be ready to knock back at the weekend and get some more base coat over. So progress, slowly, progress. Right, that's them all done. I'll come back another day to just sand that off and make it flat, but that should stop any more reacting. So yeah, done for today. Come back another day. Back again on the WiLL. It's in between kind of spitting rain showers outside, so I don't know whether I will be able to paint today, but I just wanted to have a look and get it prepped, ready to go. That feels better. That feels better. So it's probably only going to need one coat on the front and that wheel arch, because yeah, I kind of missed that. And then at the back, I'm gonna just wet sand, smooth all that off where it's all pickled and reacted underneath. Again, very lightly, just to make sure it's a smooth. Yeah, you can hear the difference there. A smooth surface to paint on. If there's a chance to paint today, I will. So we'll see. So it's nice and smooth now. Let's listen. Can't really hear much on there. Obviously need to give them a good old wipe down. But whole back's nice and smooth. I will double check the front, but that should be, I mean, there's not much on the front to do. I'll do that little bit. But yeah, you can just see the hints of stripes, so I'll probably go that way this time. To be honest, it's going to be this wing, the bonnet, and the wheel arch, and then just a light coat everywhere else, just to make sure it's nice and even. So yeah, I'll probably do the base coat, front and back, all in one go. Saves mixing and remixing. Then I can get the lacquered ready. So yeah, I'll get in there. I'm excited. Nervous, but excited. Yeah, so I've got prep to do beforehand, like wiping it down, prep on the car, and then I've got prep on the space, like dampening the floor down and anywhere else to ensure there's no dust, covering stuff up, moving stuff out of the way. Ignore the batteries. So yeah, we are getting there. Progress. I'm excited. Can you tell? Right, time for the final pre-flight checks. The exits are here, here, and here. But no, I'm gonna make sure ground's nice and damp, ramp's nice and damp. Panel's nice and clean, compressor's good, paint's good, gun's good, and then we can go. So, come on, we can do this. So Ollie's just seen there, the coat's on the back. I did the front at the same time in the base coat, so I'll let it dry, see how it's drying, see whether it needs another going over, especially the front. Might still be a little stripe on the bonnet. And then it's lacquering time, and then we're done. So close, so close. So he's in paint, he's in lacquer. Not perfect, so there are a couple of runs, but they can be knocked back. But I don't think that's too bad a job overall. Basically, it's let him dry now. I'm masking tomorrow. But for all intents and purposes, he's done. So it's unmasked, we can knock back any runs, do the wheel trims and stuff. But yeah, he's good. So we'll check back in tomorrow for the full reveal. And then we'll follow up in a few weeks' time when we get rid of the runs. But yes! So it's the day after, the day before, and oh, look at him. Look how shiny he is. Oh, I'm happy with that. Now let's get him other masks and ready for the road with number plates and wipers and fog lights and all the rest of it. This is going to be satisfying. Nice. To see his name again. You ready? WiLL. it's not quite the final touch, but for all intents and purposes, it's the final touch, certainly on the front. Number plate time. So we've drilled it, we've got the holes. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, I'm happy. I think it's done, so I was going to get the key and do a test, but that's his bum done. I think we're ready to go. By the wheel trims, which will be another day. But yeah, time to test that fog light and get him back on all four wheels. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Other than the wheel trims, which will be another video. One painted, ready to go, Big Willy. Number plate, fog light. You need to clean, a proper clean, and we'll in the coming weeks give him a buff and a polish and get out any runs and whatnot, but he's ready to go. It's got the compressor going, so I can lower the ramp, and I'll check the tyre pressures because he's been stood for a bit, but he's done. We'll bring him down and then we can celebrate. He's done. Wheel trims and everything, repaint done. So happy. Please like, comment, share and subscribe if you've enjoyed this video, and yeah, as I say, subscribe and ring that bell notice for more notifications on Big Willy and anything else we do.